Introduction to the Notting Hill Mystery. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. Recording by Kevin Green. The Notting Hill Mystery by Charles Felix, pseudonym. Introduction. It is unnecessary for us to state by what means the following papers came into our hands, and it would be no compliment to the penetration of our readers if we indicated beforehand the nature of the mystery they are supposed to unravel. It will, however, require a very close attention to names and dates to comprehend the view of the compiler as to the case he is investigating, and, so far, it is requisite to rely on the reader's patience and discernment. The whole particulars of the case will extend to some 7 or 8 numbers of Once a Week, and some things which are dark at first will appear clearer in the sequel. If the compiler has really discovered a new species or description of crime, it is natural that the evidence of it, which is circumstantial, shall be somewhat difficult of acceptance. The illustrations are simply added to make the reader's task more agreeable, but of course it is not pretended that they were made simultaneously with the events they represent. Mr. R. Henderson to the Secretary of the Life Assurance Association. Private Inquiry Office, Clement's Inn, 17th of January, 1858. Gentlemen, in laying before you the extraordinary revelations arising from my examination into the case of the late Madame R, I have to apologize for the delay in carrying out your instructions of November last. It has been occasioned, not by any neglect on my part, but by the unexpected extent and intricacy of the inquiry into which I have been led. I confess that after this minute and laborious investigation, I could still have wished a more satisfactory result, but a perusal of the accompanying documents, on the accuracy and completeness of which you may fully rely, will, I doubt, not satisfy you of the unusual difficulty of the case. My inquiries have had reference to a policy of assurance for £5,000, the maximum amount permitted by your rules, on the life of the late Madame R, effected in your office by her husband the Baron R, and bearing date 1st November 1855. Similar policies were held in the of Manchester, the of Liverpool, the of Edinburgh, and the of Dublin, the whole amounting to £25,000. The dates 23rd of December 1855, 10th of January, 25th of January, and 15th of February 1856, respectively, being in effect almost identical. These companies joined in the instructions under which I have been acting, and from the voluminous nature of this letter and its enclosures, I shall be obliged by your considering my present reply as addressed to them conjointly with yourselves. Before entering upon the subject of my investigations, it may be as well to recapitulate the circumstances under which they were originated. Of these the first was the coincidence of dates, above noticed, and an apparent desire on the part of the assurer to conceal from each of the various offices the fact of similar policies having been elsewhere simultaneously effected. On examining further into the matter, your board was also struck with the peculiar conditions under which the marriage appeared to have taken place, and the relation in which Madame R had formerly stood to the Baron. To these points, therefore, my attention was especially directed, and the facts thus elicited form a very important link in the singular chain of evidence I have been enabled to put together. The chief elements of suspicion, however, was to be found in the very unusual circumstances attendant on the death of Madame R, especially following so speedily as it did on the assurance for so large an aggregate amount. This lady died suddenly on the 15th of March, 1857, from the effects of a powerful acid taken, it is supposed, in her sleep, from her husband's laboratory. In the Baron's answers to the usual preliminary enquiries, forwarded for my assistance, and herewith returned, there is no
Sample complete. Ready to continue?